Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach Today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's Monday, June 12th, 2023. Ready to take it on 4994. Wow, here we go. We're counting down. We've only got 6 more days. Actually falls. I thought it was going to fall on my birthday. Falls a day after my birthday, which technically could be my birthday at midnight, right? So, pretty excited. Sunday is episode 5,000. I want to thank you for being with me. I'm going to spend some time on that on Thursday as we get into this, but I really appreciate you being a part of this. It's been what a wonderful journey. It continues to be a wonderful journey, and we continue to add more to it. In fact, it's getting better. I feel we're just getting started. Like with 5,000, we're launching Morning Coach 5.0, and to me, it feels like the beginning of everything. I'm just excited. Like it took 18 years to get to this point. The next 18 are going to be marvelous. I mean, I'm feeling it. I'm getting to the peak of my life as I turn 54 this Saturday. And that leads me to, 54, 64, 74. That's my next 20 years. It's going to just be an awesome, awesome journey. And hopefully you'll be a part of that. I love it. I would love for you to be a part of that as long as we can go together and we keep rocking and rolling here at Morning Coach. But I do thank you. And this week we're going to talk about that, where, it just fell on it like it always has. Things are just working really well as we do ILD. We're going to talk about passion and doing what you love today. I'm going to do that all week. And basically, I'm super excited about it because it is something that I believe we need to do. Even when, and we're going to talk a little bit about this when you start burning out a little bit. And I'm at that point, episode 5,000, just thinking about that fatigues me a little bit. And I'll take a break at some point, not yet, but at some point I'm going to take a little break, maybe in July, and just take a breather, just take a breath, because it's been just a wonderful journey. But we're rocking this week. We got a couple things going on before we get into the week. Just remember Thursday evening, actually 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to be here. Roxanne's doing a special session on the Colby. And this is a great one to come to. This is where you get an expert who's going to talk about something that, even I have little knowledge in. She's a certified expert. We're going to understand how to utilize those test results even better. So you can sign up for that in the Morning Coach community. Just go to the meetup area and you can get signed up there. That's going to be June 15th. That'll be Thursday. Again, today we're doing passion and doing what you love. Tomorrow we're going to do the book study, Business Expertise, chapters 5 through 8. I am loving both these books, especially those of you in ILD, and even not. Like, there's just so much to be thinking about it being an expert. I'd love for people to strive to do that because it just brings so much energy. Wednesday, we're going to have a fun day. We're going to talk about the good and the bad, the ugly, about episode 5,000. That's actually 4996, and a little bit of the stuff I've been through. I think it's good to share that. Thursday's Ask JB, answering your questions. Again, I've got a lot of gratitude going into that day. Friday, we're going to talk about having the right expectations, and we've got a new book in August. We're going to talk about 10X with Dan Sullivan, but I want to give you a little preface to that. Really cool idea and concept. And then, of course, Saturday, learning to go day by day, long term. That's my birthday. And then we have episode 5,000 on Sunday, which is just awesome that it comes at the end of the week. And we'll probably start next week with a little bit more about episode 5,000. It's hard for me not to talk about it as it is such a big event in my life. And it's making me really emotional. I mean, it's something that, I don't know, 4,000 didn't seem as much as 5,000, right? I don't know. It's just like, wow, 5,000 episodes, pretty crazy. And it goes back to what we're talking about, this idea of passion and doing what you love. When you find that energy to do something, it's great. And in full disclosure, when I started Morning Coach, or even before Morning Coach, when I started writing books, I wanted to leave corporate. The real reason I wanted to leave was because I was kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but I wanted freedom, right? I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I didn't want to work for someone else. And so my out back then was finding something exciting that I love to do. And really, I love coaching. I do. I've mentioned this before, that I was going to be a football coach. That's what I went to school to be. I was going to teach elementary education. I went to go into elementary education with a specialty in special needs children, because it would just been so easy to get a job. And then as a football coach, right? And that was kind of my game plan all along. And I'd be coaching the NFL right now if that plan would have went through. But obviously that plan didn't go through. And so I went into corporate for all those years and just couldn't find a way out. I loved Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and, my group that I grew up with. And so I was like, man, that's what I want to do. I want to be a motivational person. But again, going back then, part of my motivation was I thought that if you wrote a book and sold millions of copies, you wouldn't have to work, right? And I think a lot of coaches and writers kind of go that with that thought process, when the truth is, like everything, whether it's YouTube or podcasting or, writing books, it's that upper 1% that really break free, unless they understand the ILD concepts that we teach here as a professional expert. Then there's a way to break free and do those things without suffering as many people do, or the starving artist kind of thing, as they pursue their dream. But there is an aspect of doing what you love, which I love, and there is a difference between passion and purpose. And we've spoken about that before, and we will more here on the show, because it's really important to understand those differences. Purpose is an important thing. If you have purpose, you're going to do it. Passion is a great thing, but you can flame out on it sometimes. And so for me, I got to always go back and look at my passion and say, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I putting that energy out there? You see, for me, what's hard, and I'm just full disclosure here as we get into 5,000, I don't know how to do anything but just be totally open and honest. It really hurts me when I put a lot of effort into things and then people don't do them, and whether it's building courses or whether it's building structure and systems, it's been fatiguing for me over the years with the community. I mean, we just haven't been able to get a community really rolling. Now, we're integrated into Morning Coach. It's starting to get better. We got some great people in there that are doing amazing things. Again, I always mention Jurgen because he posts every day, and he's just awesome. And it's an important part of my life, like doing that. And I get it. Everybody's busy. But sometimes it gets a little frustrating, when you put the effort and the resources and the money and everything into it, and you can't get something going. So I've been there, and that's what burns me out. What kind of burns me out is when I put all my effort into something and you shoot the videos, you can do everything, and then you kind of get burnt out. And for me, the big thing, and I think it's important to disclose this when you're doing what you love, is to make sure I have the right coaches and the right people around me, because it is a long-term view, not a short-term view. And I typically have a short-term view. And since I've been doing like this type of business so long, I abandon things immediately because it's like, okay, that's not working, move on to the next thing. And out of necessity, you got to pay bills, right? So if you hold on to losers too long, you can't win. It's like gambling a lot. It was a lot of simulators in life that, you got to, investing, same thing, that sometimes you got to cut the losers and focus on the winners. But with that being said, I've slowed down a lot lately, and I'm working with my coaches and my mentors as I do things that I'm passionate about to allow me to let things work over time. Because I know my systems and things work. It's just a matter of allowing things to structure out properly. And that includes building offers. And, we've been talking about that in the Professional Expert Series. If you've come to some of those meetings, we do a meeting every month for professional experts. That's something you should come if you're somebody that is an expert. I think it's important that you're getting the right coaching and mentoring, because it does get very frustrating. Again, it doesn't matter what level you're at. You're going to have some stinkers. Okay, you're going to have some things that don't work, and it gets frustrating, especially when you're doing what you're passionate about. You're out there and you're like, why can't I get this going? And again, the market's very fickle. You don't know what's going to work. I mean, we had the pet rock off in the 70s, and that's a guy put a rock in a box and sold it. It's pretty crazy when you really think about that, right? You think about a rock in a box was selling, and they sell a ton. So you never know what's going to take off. There are people that have amazing ideas and just can't market them, and they're trying to figure out how to market them. I look at Dr. Paul Kilgore. He won't let me mind me bringing him up. But the guy's a genius. One of the smartest people I know in health and fitness. And one of the struggles we have is getting people to invest in that. Because typically what happens with health and fitness is it's not something somebody thinks about until they have a problem. They have a heart attack, they have a stroke, they get cancer, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, my health is a priority. So marketing that can be challenging. A general person is looking for their insurance to pay for it, right? So finding a need that we can do that, where you got one of the smartest guys in the world that literally could change somebody's life from a health and, add years to their life as they start to understand the more of the health perspective, putting his stuff out there, getting somebody to pull a credit card out and buy it's a challenge. Because again, the general psychology is people don't typically look for help with health until they have a problem. So you've got to kind of let them know about the problem ahead of time. And that's what's challenging about business, and why I love teaching it and supporting people, because there is this idea of the market, and it's challenging. It's not easy. If it's easy, everybody would be doing it. And some people just find a problem and just jump in. You look at the computer industry with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, and how they just caught the timing right. But now, let's say you were to create a computer, you'd be way behind the game trying to compete against these huge companies, right? But if you come out at the right timing, you get it working a little bit. And that's what happens with everybody. Everybody's bringing these wonderful ideas, but the market is always changing. It's always, something always is happening. Political things are going on, societal things are going on. And so you're trying to do what you're passionate about, you're excited about it, and then you kind of get hit by a train. It feels like some days. You got to, get yourself up, pat yourself off, and then think about the purpose of what you're doing it for. And that's what gets you to episode 5,000. That's what gets you there. Doing it every day is what's going to get you better at the things that you do. And when you do it every day, you're going to have some bad days. It's just part of the process. It's part of what we do in living our life. But it is important to have something in your perspective or something that you're doing that you actually love. When I teach ILD, one of the first things I get is a lot of people come up to me and say, hey, JB, I think it's great, but I got to pay the bills. And I think it's awesome. You got to go get a JOB. That's fine. Do your JOB, but always be looking for something on the side. Be learning about business and business ideas and thoughts. And obviously, if you come to Morning Coach, you're getting it here. Open your mind to new ideas and new thoughts and new things, and allow those ideas and thoughts to come into your life. And as you do them, you'll find income streams. You'll start to do things that you're passionate about, and then you got to take some steps to get there. And then one of the things that you can always do is get a coach to help you jump the chasms. But the problem is I see a lot of people, specifically in the United States, they're chasing fame, especially a lot of younger people, instead of bottom line business. And so you see a lot of this stuff on TikTok. You see a lot of stuff on Instagram. People are just looking to be famous. They just want validation. We've talked about that before. That's not a good business strategy. Okay, fame does not equate to success, which I believe is peace and happiness and financial freedom. It doesn't. Fame just brings you no attention, which is a currency right now. But how long it can last, because the market's very fickle, is difficult. What can last forever is expertise, not fame. And then when you combine that with a little bit of that, if something does happen, you get famous, then all of a sudden you've got the ability to generate revenue in a way that's going to make things work. But is that your passion? Are you just doing it because you need validation? A lot of people do a lot of the things on social media and go out there and do ILD-style businesses because they're looking to be the expert, or they coach because they need validation. They need somebody to tell them, hey, you're doing a good job, or I'll hire you because, you need that validation. Once you can overcome that, the world gets a lot clearer and it gets a lot easier. And we all need it, by the way. Don't think that we don't need that pat on that back, that hug, that, hey, you're doing a good job. We all need that. That's part of life. And it's important we get that. We just got to make sure we're getting it for the right people. And the purpose that we're doing things is really important. Somebody took my quote. I saw it on Instagram the other day and said, hey, Morning Coach, great quote. And that is, a goal without a why is a wish. And it's kind of the same thing when we go out there and say, hey, I'm going to do what I love. But if you don't have the purpose behind it and you don't have a reason that you're doing it, you're going to burn out. Because I could tell you from my own perspective of coming up to 5,000, as we get into some of the lessons I've learned this week, you will burn out, because there's been times I've burned out, many, many times, and all it takes is one email that says, oh, this link isn't working, or, oh, I couldn't do this. And it's when you're in that mode where you're just like, man, I've been working so hard, been doing my best. And you get that, you're like, okay, I'm done. And that's why breaks are so important, especially when you do what you love. Because you hear that quote, do what you love, you never work a day in your life. There's a lot of fallacy there, because even when you do what you love, you're going to have to work. And that's what I I try to get parents to understand. They all think their kids are beautiful and amazing and awesome, and they are, and they can do anything, and they can, but they need a work ethic too. And that's what I see, a lot of entitlement, where I feel bad because they just were never taught that part of the whole situation is working and enjoying the process. Khalil Gibran, going back to, experience ultimate joy, you got to have some, ultimate pain. You got to feel that pain in order to feel joy. And I don't want you to have to do that, but there's a lot of truth to that. Right? So as much as we try to guide and lead people out of that pain, sometimes that pain is what people need, because it's going to lead them to their passions. They're going to understand what they want to do. And in fact, one of the most important things is to learn what you don't want to do. And the only way you do that is by executing on plans. The only way you do that is by getting out there and doing something multiple times until you figure it out. I was listening to Gary Vee, who I've had on the show. Love Gary. It's been years I've been with him, and I think his message has changed. I like what he's teaching now. But he'll tell somebody that goes out there, does YouTube, do 100 videos. And guess what? After 100 videos, if you don't get traction, quit. Go do something else. You tried it for 100 times. Maybe it's not for you. It's hard for a lot of people to hear, but that's the truth, right? Some things don't work. I always talk about venture capitalists. They hit a 7 out of 10 rate. They're hitting 30%. They hit 3 out of 10. I'm sorry. 7 things are going to fail. And these are the best in the world at business. So they go out there and they invest in 10 businesses. They know 7 aren't going to make it. But the 3 that do pay handsomely for the 7 that don't. They recover their money 10 times such, some. That's what VC do. So when we go out there and we think about this, I want you to do what you're passionate about, but I also want you to find the purpose to drive you, because that's what's going to make the difference. And that's what I'm sharing with you today, is that coming up to episode 5,000, yeah, there's some burnout. I mean, come on. I've been doing this a long, long time. Will I ever retire? No, because it's an ILD principle. Why would I? But I do need breaks, and I need to take a breath once in a while. Sometimes I just got to step back and breathe, because it's a lot, and it's a lot of intellectual work. And it gets challenging sometimes. And it gets hard, and it is what it is. But I'm not complaining. I love it. But I'm just saying, when you do what you're passionate, it doesn't mean there's not going to be work. There's not going to be burnout. There's not going to be times when you're just struggling, because there will be. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. So find your passion, get the purpose, and let's go make it happen. And let us help you get the options to do that. That's why we're here. That's what ILD is all about, helping you live the life that you're looking to live and live that best life. All right, I love you. Get out there, have a great one, and I'll be back tomorrow as we rock towards 5,000 right here on morningcoach.com.